Alright, hello. We're back with Donnie Darko. I got some interesting stuff for Donnie Darko, okay? It's just absolutely loaded. Um, but it's really a connection back, another connection back to Donald Trump, which I don't think anybody's talked about as far as I'm aware. Um, and again, this kind of comes off of the back of Derek that does Gematria. He was talking about the 326 number in one of his videos with the mercurial years for Donald Trump. And so I just found that interesting because it coincided with the number that I'd been looking at as well, which is getting to 326. Anyway, we'll get on to all that in a minute. But where we're at here with this set of numbers in here, I just wanted to point something out that when this whole thing starts with Donnie Darko, we are in the October element again. This idea of October, which I've been discussing, the idea of switching October to December because of the 10th. Sorry to sound like a broken record, because it's the 10th month and December is named for the 10th month. So we're using October as a code for December, okay? And then in Donnie Darko, we have all the time travel stuff like Back to the Future. And we also have this sort of countdown as well. And the whole thing starts on the 2nd of October, and this countdown is 28 days later, which is an interesting number to do with Pluto and the Lucas cycle, and going from, if you've been watching my stuff, 8/14, 28 days later, takes us to 9/11. Okay, and so the idea of 28 days later, you've probably heard the film, is a reference back to a hidden 8/14, which is, if you like, kind of like the hidden birthday of the beginning of the Pluto cycle. Okay, so to have this 28-day reference later is pretty interesting with the idea of a 9/11, with the idea of 9/11. Okay, so this in itself is referencing 9/11 with the idea of 28 days. And it's also could be referencing the following on event as well. So when we're talking about the following on event, this number here is taking us up roughly to the 30th of October. So we're right at the sort of right before the day of maybe the event, which we would be looking at the 31st of December. Okay, so this is going to, which would tie back to the 31st Halloween with Donnie Darko. Okay. Anyway, pay attention to what is in the middle of here, because as somebody's birthday, okay, we've got the Queen's birthday, the 421, which again ties back to 9/11, but we've also got, and of course these numbers add up to some interesting stuff. Okay, I believe they add up to 88, and I think I had them adding up to 187 as well, if you add them up in a different way, in reverse. But we're not doing that right now. What we're looking at is these numbers in the middle here, okay? Because there's also potentially another, well, there's another date. We've just had it go by, which is on the end here, 12/28. Okay, and then, so this is one of these days on the build up to the whole thing, maybe. And then we've also got, if we read backwards here, we have to fudge this just a little bit, but October, put a 0 on with this 1. October, put a 0 on with the 2. The 20th, October the 20th. Okay, 1964 is Kamala Harris's birthday in here. Okay, now the reason why I'm bringing this up right now, I want to show you something. Okay, and then we'll jump back to the whole thing with Donnie Darko, because we're going to kind of go around in circles a little bit here, but I want to show you a number jump. And this number jump is from Kamala Harris's birthday to the 31st this year. So this is D-Day right here. Okay, look at the number jump, 21987. Nothing special there, but I'm going to show you in my table now why that's important and why it relates back to 9/11, and then we'll talk back about Donnie Darko again. So we're going to be kind of a bit all over the place, but right, if you're new and you don't know what this table is, I highly recommend that you just go back and dig out stuff about the Queen's Cross. Okay, it will say something about the Queen's Cross. There'll be some kind of explanation video back there. What we basically have in existence in the entire universe, or at least our world, as far as I'm aware, there's 3 cycles that are like self-generating cycles. Okay, so Fibonacci works, 1 plus 1 is 2, and then you jump back one number, you add the previous number to your existing number, and that generates the next number on. Okay, so 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, and so forth. It's a self-generating cycle, if you like. This thing, you can do this with any numbers you like. You'll pick 2 numbers out, and you can add them together, and what you'll do is that will turn into one of these 3 cycles if you take those 2 numbers and reduce them back down to the original elements that they are. Okay, so you could take any cycle, any 2 numbers, write out a cycle beginning with those 2 numbers, and then what you could do is you could reduce down those numbers to individual digits, and what you'll find is that they will follow one of these 3 cycles, okay, when completely reduced. And these are the only 3 cycles that exist: Lucas, Fibonacci, and what I call pi. Okay, and the pattern repeats every 24 digits. Okay, it just starts back over. It's round and round. It's a cycle. What you're seeing at the bottom of this table here, if I show you this, these next numbers on here, these are all the same cycles, except they're just stopping and starting in a different spot. And what is interesting is, when you start these cycles, like Fibonacci, 1 plus 1 is 2, okay, and then if you logically go on to the next number in your cycle, in your number line, so you do 2 plus 1 is 3, okay, and then you do 3 plus 1 is 4, and then you do 4 plus 1 is 5, and then you do 5 plus 1 is 6, and then you do 6 plus 1 is 7, etc. What you will find, though, is that these numbers, once we get past the third go here, once we get onto here, we've actually got, these are actually Fibonacci numbers again. If we come across, we'll see that this is the beginning of Fibonacci here. Okay, you'll see if you go up into Fibonacci at the top, you'll see that 415 is part of that cycle. Yeah, starting here. So there's only 3 different cycles, and then from then on out, we've just got them stopping and starting in different places. Anyway, this table has everything logically formatted. We're just dealing with these numbers here, and we're starting on 1, we're going down to 9, and then that's it. Because once you get past 9, again, you're just repeating stuff. Okay, so this is it for the table, right? Forget about all this stuff down the bottom, this green stuff for now. What is interesting anyway about that number with Kamala Harris is that number shows up in here quite a lot. 21987. What it's actually is in a row of, if you look at this row here, this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just a row of a number row that's repeating. Okay, I know this is difficult to follow, but 21987 shows up in here in a couple of different spots. But what you'll notice is most of the time it is crossing with these numbers here. Okay, and what you'll notice is 819 is Matthew Perry's birthday, and the other number it's crossing with is 911. Okay, so this is kind of ominous. Okay, so it shows up in here over and over. Okay, it's just where those numbers cross, and you can do it in reverse as well. And when you go in reverse, if I can find one that's in reverse here, here's one that's in reverse. Okay, 21987, and you'll notice it crosses with, again, with Matthew Perry's jumbled up numbers now, or this could be like the 18th of September or something, or it could just be 18, okay, which I just showed you that connection with Madonna in the last video, Billy Idol, and the date, the 8th of January, which is Elvis's birthday. Super duper important with this. And then we've got the 88 here, which I'm going to move on to in just a minute. But 88 with Trump is just absolutely loaded, and Back to the Future just loaded. Okay, and the reason why is because 88 is a direct reference to 9/11. Okay, that's just the way these numbers work. That's why we see so much 88 stuff, right? Because it's a direct reference to 9/11. Right, I got to get through this because I've got a headache. So this shows up in here multiple times. There's more than just what I've just showed you here. But this is what's nuts about it, is it's crossing with 9/11 and Matthew Perry most of the time. Okay, this number jump, 21987. Yeah, 21987. Kamala's birthday, 1964. Hopefully that's the right year. I'm pretty sure it's 1964. Okay, I was just showing you those in the Donnie Darko. Yeah, the 1, 2, and the 6, 4 that was in Donnie Darko's arm. Okay, and then this is the end of the world, maybe. The end of the Hoover Dam. Now, don't forget, in Donnie Darko, they have the dog with the axe in the head, which is, again, we have the dogs at the Hoover Dam, which are the winged angels. We have the dog reference with Pluto. We have in the film Donnie Darko, we have the flooding of the school. Okay, if you look at the wall, the backdrop in the, I think it's like the auditorium area. Okay, there is like a stone wall. I don't know what it is. It's like where the blackboard would be. Okay, there's a stone wall there. It's just a fake stone wall, but it's just, the idea of the wall. Okay, there are lots of references to that in the film. There's also lots of references to the whole, hang on, I've got it up here. There's lots of references to the earshot on Donald Trump. I showed you all those decodes, okay, and how that also ties into Tears for Fears, and not only just Tears for Fears with it ties Tears for Fears back with Ghostbusters, okay, and then we can tie Ghostbusters back to Ghostbusters 2 with the blackout, and also the World of the Psychics scene where the 31st of December is predicted with the Hoover Dam backdrop in the TV show is predicted as the end of the world. But just like this scene right here. Okay. Donnie. Donnie. It's a bit long-winded, this scene. But he dodged it. You hear that? He dodged his bullet, Rose. Our Donnie dodged his bullet. Okay. There's tons of I mean, there's just tons of stuff in this film. Absolutely, it's plumb loaded, right? What I want to show you though is something else that's in Donnie Darko that will now all tie this together. Hang on. Okay, so what I want to show you is, let me show you a number jump here, and it's this particular number jump here. Okay, and I showed you this the other day, or I don't think I showed you it, but I talked about it and I explained it the other day in a video. This is Donald Trump's birthday. Notice that he and Kamala switched the 4664, and so notice the numbers showing up in the arm, again, with Donald Trump with that as well, because if you look at the arm, should we go to the arm? I think you can figure that out. The 614. We've got the numerology in here, okay? But with that number jump, okay, we're going to the 19th of December, okay, and it's 28678 days, okay, takes us to the 19th of December. What is so special about this is that if we take all the stuff with 88 that's in the film, all the references to Donald Trump with 88, if we use, and in fact I'll show you what it is, if we use the actual more accurate version of the orbital period, which is 87 days and 0.9691 days, okay, so this is rounded normally to 88 days, okay, but if we use this, okay, to get an accurate, time period for mercurial years, okay, for Donald Trump, and we put the 28678 number jump to the 19th of December in, divided by the 87.9691, our mercurial years comes out at 326. Okay, now what is important about this 326, yeah, we've got some change on here, but this is as close as you can get. The 19th is as close as you can get. And what's important about the 326 is that aligns with, I don't know if I've got it up here actually, I thought I did it, hang on, let's have a look. There it is. The 326 aligns with this, the Hoover Dam's birthday through to the 31st of December this year, okay, New Year's Eve, 32600, okay, that number is aligning with Donnie Trump, okay, and the Hoover Dam now, okay. So this is what's going to become even more fascinating, is that a certain person in Donnie Darko is born on the 19th. In fact, Donnie Darko himself, Jake Gyllenhaal, okay, is born on the 19th of December. Holy mackerel, right? Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to tell you right now the date at which, if we were just to use 88 as our reference point, if I could get on the right blooming one, 88 divides a certain number exactly to 326, okay, and that date is, if I go on, it's this number jump right here, 28688. It's the 29th. I was just showing you with Madonna on the 29th. Okay, it was kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm just saying, in the next day or two, if we see Madonna croak, if we see Kamala Harris come in, we could be in line for the Hoover Dam on the 31st. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Nothing's happened up to this point, really. There's been some interesting stuff in the news. But this date here is exactly 326. If you divide this by 88, it's exactly 326 mercurial years. Okay, so interesting. So we've got Kamala Harris's birthday aligning with this, which I've shown you ties back to 9/11. Matthew Perry has the Hoover Dam, the big Hoover Dam film with Salma Hayek. Okay, and she's also a 2/9 reference date, which I was explaining about Madonna's 2/9/20 reference date in the other video that I just did. Okay, we've got all this aligning with Donald Trump. Back to Donnie Darko, back to the stuff on the arm with Donnie Darko. Okay, I don't know what else to say about the whole thing. Okay, I think I gotta leave it there because I've got my headache's getting worse. Okay, I don't think there was anything else I wanted to mention in there. Apart from there are a lot more little references. There are a lot more little kind of bits and bobs in the background of scenes that reference nicely back to the Hoover Dam. You know, even the cellar door that he opens when Maggie died, not Maggie, whatever her name is, I can't remember now. Gretchen. Whenever she dies, right before that scene when they go in the basement there, yeah, down into the underworld, like going into the dam, you know, that wall with the door there, again, there's just elements of the idea of the dam, you know. The Sparrow reference with Jack Sparrow, okay, and Johnny Depp's birthday 9/6, okay. Remember the Key Bridge, yeah, 326, and we're dealing with the keystone here, okay. From the start of the year, from the start of the millennium, I guess what you call it, 2000. If we go from the date 5/5, which is at the top of the dollar bill, which happens to be the release date for Gladiator, okay, and we go, and that's another personal reference to Madonna and my cousin, Gladiator, but if we go from that date through, I don't know if you ever remember that, I'll just explain it. My cousin, that I believe, you know, you could have there's a slight resemblance to Madonna with her. She was on the TV series Gladiator briefly, a couple of episodes, I think. We went and watched it. But anyway, there's the little Gladiator reference there. But there's that big number jump that Steve Fletcher showed in one of his videos, which took us 9,000 days up to Christmas. Okay, why is 9 so important? Because when you come back to this stuff here, yeah, look at what's at the center of this thing, the 9, okay. And then, you know, I mean, if you come over to this one, for instance, with the 9 at the center, look, we got 595, and then we've got the 6, the 66 on each side, like Madonna, 66 years old. But we've also got 696. We've got this, you know, the reference to the keystone, which is 96. You know, the old funny handshake club, Masons. That keystone is 96. Okay, and if you do that same Gladiator jump through to the 31st from 5/5/2000, it's going to be 9,006 days. The 96, the same as Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp's birthday, the same as Donald Duck's birthday, DD, Donnie Darko, Donald Trump, the same as Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, the 9-6, okay? And we're going from 5-5 at the start of 2000. Yeah, it's taking you to that 9-6 reference. So you can look at different, there may be different decodes for each one of these different, even though it's the same, essentially the same numbers, there might be a slightly different decode that triangulates with these things, like this 2-8 here. Somehow here's the Hoover Dam numbers here, 9-3 coming across this way. So there might be some form of a 2-8 reference there with the tying back in with the Hoover Dam. I don't know. Lots of different references, and again 28 days earlier. All these numbers that tie in together around this stuff. Oh dear. I'm gonna call it. I think I'm just gonna call it a day. My head is pounding right now. So yeah. I don't know, that number plate in Back to the Future. Yeah, this is the DeLorean getting smashed. We had the steam train, we got the other train hitting the DeLorean. Madonna is the DeLorean. Again, this is another reference to a follow-on date here on the number plate. Super duper interesting anyway. I'm gonna leave it. Alright, thanks for watching. Alright, cheers, bye.